Good evening. I will call this meeting to order. If you would kindly rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, would you kindly call the roll?
Allenson.
Here.
Carmody.
Here.
Fishbein.
Here.
Laffin.
Here.
Regan.
Here.
Reynolds.
Here.
Tata.
Here.
Testa.
Here.
Marone.
Here. All members present and voting. Moving on to the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve or accept consent agenda items 3A through 3G and 3H as amended.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion unanimous. There were no items removed, so on to number 5, public question and answer. Does anyone have a question for the council? Mr. Kellogg, or either way.
First of all, I have to apologize. I met with somebody I actually saved today when people were coming through, so whatever. But this is,
Mr. Kellogg, will you just speak into the microphone? They're not picking you up.
I'm sorry.
No.
Basically, I talk about the light on the corner of North Colony or North Turnpike Road and Parker Farms Road. This is the response I got from the state. The light is working according to plan. The walks are concurrent with the side street. This is a newly rebuilt intersection and was designed that way. The traffic signal revision requests that first be approved by the Wallingford, basically, of the police chief. If the police chief agrees with your recommendation, we will submit the approved request to the Connecticut DOT for further review and approval. So that tells me that the state has basically approved a plan to allow green light people to turn into an intersection where pedestrians are already, with the light, allowed to cross, and that's okay. Does that make sense to anybody? I really am asking this. Does that make sense to anybody?
If I may
that the state would allow traffic to proceed into an intersection that the pedestrian is flashing or the little guy is there? Really? Anybody?
Yeah, so Mr.
Anybody
Kellogg,
on the board?
I would say, I would agree with you that it doesn't seem appropriate, but I believe the mayor has some more information for you.
Okay.
So I've been in communication with our police chief, and I know you met with the
Yes,
department recently.
on December 3rd,
Yep.
I met with him.
So he has been in,
December 4th, I got that.
he has been in communication with the traffic authorities for the state to work on this issue.
And
They're in communications. They're working on it.
so today, I walked my little pup through that intersection, and I'm out of time, but literally I almost got run over by a school bus that is turning onto me across North Turnpike Road. Come on, people. Jesus, you're supposed to be the leaders of the town. You're supposed to be the people that are directing us. You're supposed to be the people that actually are protecting us. Do you really feel you're doing that? Do you really feel that the state is doing that? This is their response. Come on. Really? I don't care. This is not a Democrat, Republican, Independent issue. This is a frickin' safety issue. Do anybody on this board really think this is okay? I really would like a response.
I don't think anyone on this,
Adam, you said you have no issue at all except for finance. Mr. Reynolds, Mr. Kamadi, you've never said it, Mr. Fishburne.
Mr. Kellogg,
You've actually said you're going to put it on the agenda.
Mr. Kellogg,
Mr. Marone,
yes.
you
So-
said you would put it on the agenda.
No, I never said I'd put on an agenda. Well, we indicated that we would go through the process with the state. Again, it's state property, right? And so the state sets the timing of the lights. They feel like the light's appropriate the way it is, right? We may disagree. I don't think anyone on this council pushes back on that it's probably not right. But we have to follow the process with the state to get this issue fixed.
I'm done. I really am done with you guys. You can't protect us. You can't protect a pedestrian crossing a road, and you're our town leaders. Really?
Thank you very much, Mr. Kellogg.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Shardulo.
Good evening, everyone. Paul Shardulo, 2 Bayberry Drive. Hope everybody's having a good holiday season. Mr. Chairman, I think that we'd probably agree that affordability is the biggest issue for working-class families in America and in Wallingford, because obviously Wallingford is a working-class community. We've had, the inflation is higher today than it was a year ago. It's up around 3%. It's not 3, but it's close to 3. Food prices are up, home and auto insurance is up, and we're about to experience a $1.5 trillion cut to health care for many working families that absolutely need that support. And that includes $500 billion in cuts for Medicare. That's seniors. Many people don't realize that, but that's part of the bill. And then on top of that, in Wallingford, we've had the largest tax increase in history last year. We're living through it right now, as you all know. Most of that increase had to do with the fact that we did reassessments, and we pushed the tax burden off of the business community and onto homeowners. So basically, working class families are hurting very badly. I mean, really badly. If you add up all the inflation over the last 5 years, it's 25%. So unless you got a 25% salary increase in the last 5 years, you're falling way behind. Median income in Wallingford is between $85,000 and $90,000 for households. You try raising a family on $85,000, $90,000 in terms of providing, support, health care, child support. We have a serious problem. So with that in mind, when I saw that this past year, Wallingford ended 2025 with a $10.5 million surplus, I felt compelled to come down here two meetings ago and share that information. And basically, at that time, I asked our mayor if he would, and I requested it, and I still feel this needs to happen. We should reimburse the tax increase for 2025 because it's only half of our surplus. We raised taxes, we didn't use the money. So I'm saying give it back, in particular now, in this environment that we're in. So I guess one question I have, and just a few comments on the 10.3 million. We underspent in general
Well,
government.
Mr. Shardulli, your 3 minutes is up. Can you wrap up?
Well, sure. I have two questions. One, I guess, is to go back to Mr. Mayor. I wanted to ask if you've had a chance to rethink anything. Do you still feel the same way, or what's your thinking on it at this point?
Still waiting on the audit results.
You want the audit results? Okay. My belief is, and I shared this, I won't go through it again, the audit report is not going to show anything that this report doesn't show. It's a totally different animal. But I'll close by issuing a challenge to every member on this council. You have an opportunity, I believe, tonight to think deep about this and take this issue up tonight, put it on the agenda, have an open conversation, and take a vote. Because I think you have a huge opportunity to deliver a very positive message to the working families in Wallingford. If you don't, I believe you're sending an equally negative message to the working families in Wallingford that, you know what, we're not concerned about you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public question and answer? So moving on to items 7 and 8 have been withdrawn. We have a request from the administration to waive Rule 5. Madam Vice Chair?
I move that we waive Rule 5 to consider qualifications-based selection procedure for the hiring of a construction inspector for the Tolley's Road Bridge Replacement Project.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
And Mr. Chairman, I will move pursuant to Purchasing Ordinance 43-10D4, approving the use of the qualifications-based selection process without the secondary request for proposal in accordance with the local transportation capital improvement program to hire a construction inspector for the Tolley's Road Bridge Replacement Project.
All right. Good evening, Ms. Kapuscinski.
Good evening, Council. Thank you so much for hearing this tonight. I really appreciate it. For the record, Allison Kapuscinski, Town Engineer. To be honest, I don't have too much to add that's not in the memo, but since the memo was late, I think it would be appropriate if I summarize it quickly.
Sure, please.
Great. So we're looking to start construction on the Tolley's Road Bridge this spring. We just got our authorization to advertise from the state last week, and that essentially gives us permission to go out to bid for the various construction bids that are needed. One of those is the construction inspector. And you might recall back in 2023, the state outlined different master municipal agreements for various state projects. One of those is the master municipal agreement for design projects. And I confirmed with the state that they are considering the construction inspector under that MMA. And that MMA does require us to use a qualifications-based selection process that does not take cost into account. And so through that, I work with the purchasing department and the mayor's office to determine the most appropriate path forward using our ordinances. And there is a section that does allow us to utilize qualification-based selection without the secondary RFP process, which is typically used by the town. So with that, I am requesting approval to use that, that process.
Thank you very much. Discussion on the motion. Mr. Testa.
Just curious, where's this bridge?
The Tolley's Road Bridge,
I know, but,
right next to the 15 underpass. It's over the Quinnipiac River.
oh, right there.
Yes,
I'm trying to, that makes sense. It goes over, okay. Thank you.
of course.
Any other questions? Mr. Fishbein.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is this the first time that we've hired a construction inspector for one of these projects?
For this project,
For like, because we've done other bridges in town, right?
Right.
And the one specifically that I'm thinking about is the Center Street by Vinnie's Deli. Did we have a construction inspector for that we hired?
that was a state project, so the town did not have a construction inspector.
Okay, so that's the distinction here. I just don't want to get into the same sort of situation and, you know, because the Center Street situation ended up with a meeting in the mayor's office and a lot of lengthy time. So
Yeah, no, this is a
solely
town-
town project.
Correct, it's funded by the state, but it is a town project.
Okay, so that's where I was, okay. So we're totally in control of timeline and delays and all of that. So, okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any members of the public with a question on this item? Mr. Kellogg.
What does MMA stand for?
It's the Master Municipal Agreement.
Okay. That's
Thank you.
a number of acronyms that y'all use. Believe me, I worked in the nuclear industry. I can spit out acronyms that you would not even come close to understanding. So when acronyms are used by people that are testifying, most of the public don't understand those acronyms. So I would really appreciate if somebody on the board would actually ask that question. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, any other questions on the council? We'll take a voice vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion is unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I realize now I didn't neglected item 6A, the update on Hidden Brook Lane. Ms. Small?
So we have all of the key easements. We still have one easement that we're still working on, but we have the engineers engaged in doing the final as-built and the property description for the road. Water and sewer has done work on a fire hydrant. All of this will come out of the bond money. And so we're close. It has to go back to the P&Z before it comes to the council for approval of accepting the road. So it's moving close to the end at this point in time.
Perfect, excellent. Moving on to item 9.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we go into executive session pursuant to Connecticut General Statutes 1-225F and 1-206B regarding strategy and negotiations with respect to the following pending tax appeal matters. 350 North Cherry Street Extension LLC versus Town of Wallingford, Dubuque versus Town of Wallingford, Montano versus Town of Wallingford, Yalesville Properties LLC versus Town of Wallingford, and Wallingford Group LLC versus Town of Wallingford.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? We are now in executive session. If you kindly clear the chamber. I will call this meeting back to order. Can I get a motion to come out of executive session, please?
So moved.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? We are now back in regular session.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve a settlement in the pending tax appeal matter of 350 North Cherry Street Extension LLC versus Town of Wallingford as discussed in executive session.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve a settlement in the pending tax appeal matter of Dubuque versus Town of Wallingford as discussed in executive session.
Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion is unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the settlement in the pending tax appeal matter of Montano versus Town of Wallingford as discussed in executive session.
Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion is unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the settlement in the pending tax appeal matter of Yalesville Properties LLC versus Town of Wallingford as discussed in executive session.
Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion is unanimous.
And Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the settlement in the pending tax appeal matter of Wallingford Group LLC versus Town of Wallingford as discussed in executive session.
Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion is unanimous. There's no other business on the agenda. Just on a personal note, reflecting sort of on my, as I'm not coming back for the next meeting, the wheels of government move very slowly sometimes. I feel like this, I was really proud of how this council handled itself. The interactions, with the fellow councilors. Something I said at the forum was, this is 8 of the best, most motivated, most involved people in town that I know, and so it's been a pleasure serving with all of you. The 2 new councilors are also great individuals who are, deeply rooted in town and a lot of things in town, and so I really do believe that they're going to do an excellent job, for the people of this town. Democracy is about giving people a choice. The people chose, and I've been promoted to a private citizen. So I think the important thing to take away from that is this reflects a healthy democratic process. We get criticized sometimes for, the good old boy network and things are the way they always are. Well, sometimes they're not. And sometimes that's a reflection of, changes in people's attitudes and that the system does work. Right? So I wish all the best of the luck to the new chairman when selected and to the Democrats in leadership. And maybe back to harass the new chair next year, but probably not. Anyone else? Councilor Tata.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I have some prepared remarks because I didn't want to riff tonight, but this is certainly not a speech I thought I'd have to make, but here we are at Joe Marone's last meeting on the town council. And when I say last meeting, I only mean for now, because you may have a brief hiatus, but I refuse to accept that this is the end of your time in Wallingford politics. But I want to take a few moments to thank you for your service to the town thus far, I'll say. I have a little memento of your term here, so
Oh, man.
this is for you. It's engraved with Town Council Chairman 2024 to 2025, but I did ask, and they said that the engraving can be changed at any time, so when you're back up here again in the future, we'll just change that out again. Joe Marone has been continuously serving as an elected official in Wallingford since 2009, with 3 terms on the Board of Education, 2 of those terms as its vice chair. While this was a bit before I was paying much attention to the Wallingford political scene, from what I have heard, Joe Marone made a name for himself as someone on the board who would question the status quo. As Chris Shortell told me recently, Joe would give RTC updates and always find something controversial, even if there was nothing. If Joe Marone sees something that needs to be questioned, he will question it. And for 16 years, that has served the town well over his time on the Board of Ed and the council. Now, at this point, I should explain Joe's personality as the debater, as identified by a recent personality test that we took. Joe was identified as a debater, and he loves a good debate. In fact, no one probably debated or disagreed more than me and Joe, and yet we continued to have an incredibly solid partnership. Joe sees the value in the diversity of opinions and taking in others' perspectives. I think the most enduring legacy of you, Joe, will be your encouragement of respectful disagreement and debate. Joe has served 10 years or 5 terms on the town council, being the chairman in the current term. Joe is a townie, living in town his entire life. Being a true Wallingford guy, being the chair of the council really meant a lot to Joe. I recall one of the first meetings Joe ran as chairman, and we were talking afterwards, and he mentioned being a teenager in Wallingford and seeing these, what he called larger-than-life politicians and leaders like Chairman Bob Parisi. And now that was Joe. He was in Bob Parisi's seat. It meant a lot to Joe, and he didn't take it lightly. Joe has devoted the past 2 years to being chairman, and I don't think many people realize or appreciate how much behind-the-scenes work goes into that role. Hours daily of phone calls, emails, planning, organizing, talking to departments, talking to residents, going to town hall, creating agendas, dealing with the issues of 45,000 residents, and trying to help all of his counselors succeed. One of the things I think you did best was supporting all of us counselors in our endeavors. Even if Joe disagreed with and would eventually vote against a counselor's idea, he never ever dissuaded him or her from pursuing it or putting it on an agenda. I think Joe's legacy as chairman will be that everyone up here felt supported and respected by Joe. And that's not an easy thing to accomplish. With 9 egos, convictions, personalities, and ideologies, for Joe to have the respect and friendship even of everyone up here is really remarkable. On a personal note, Joe is one of the funniest people you could ever meet. My first town council meeting, I was admittedly a bit nervous sitting at the end of the dais with only Joe Morone next to me at the time. Joe must have sensed my nerves, and right as the meeting started, he leaned over and whispered a joke, which I definitely cannot repeat here. And I laughed and was immediately at ease. Joe helped me a lot as a newly elected official. He shared all of his experience and knowledge, but he never ever forced me to agree with him. There were several topics about which I strongly disagreed with him and fought him for years, and he never pushed or said I was wrong. He just patiently waited for me to learn my own lessons and kept guiding me along the way. But several years later, with more experience, I have said to Joe many times, those 3 words that every man loves to hear and no woman likes to say, you were right. When Joe and I decided to seek out chair and vice chair, we talked about it being a true partnership. It proved to be just that. I truly felt more co-chair than your vice chair. Joe has no ego, no thirst for control or power. He wanted to be chairman because he felt so firmly that his values of transparency and accountability would be well represented with him at the helm, and Joe, they most certainly were. Many people have said to me over the past 2 years, how is Joe Morone? He seems like a good guy. To which I say, that's exactly it. He's a good guy. He's just a really good guy. He's a family man, he adores his family, takes care of them, and is a devoted husband, father, and son. During his 16 years as an elected official, his 3 boys have grown up. We have attended first communions, birthdays, confirmations, and graduations. Above all, Joe is someone you can trust. Knowing Joe as a friend and a political partner, I have to say that this is the type of person you want representing you. Someone with integrity, with a heart to help others, someone who you would want your children to look up to, someone you're incredibly lucky to have as a friend. And all I can say about you not being back up here again is that I think that some people just didn't realize who Joe Morone is. Because if they did, there's no doubt in my mind that you'd be sitting up here forever. So, Mr. Chairman, enjoy your hiatus, but don't get too comfortable because I don't think this is it for you. Joe, being your vice chair has been a true honor and a memory I'll always hold dear. Wallingford is a better place because of your 16 years of contributions, and I'm certainly a better person for having you as a friend.
That is extremely kind. Mr. Fishbein?
And they say I talk too much. Anyway, that was very nice. You know, we certainly entered this term under a weirdness because it took us 2 weeks or so to elect a council chairman, something that this town I don't think had ever gone through. And I wasn't an active part. I took a step back, but expressed my opinions. And throughout the term, I can't tell you how many times Joe was asked a question, or you were asked a question. I should be speaking about you in the third person. And you answered it, or you took an act. And I get the opportunity to sit here and say, okay, that's his thing. But I also get to say, would I have done the same thing? And I can't tell you one time, I mean, there were certainly times that I was amazed at how you handled whatever was before you. I very much appreciate the conversations, the call, hey, this is what's going on, what do you think? And just the open sounding board, being able to do that. But, I very much appreciate your leadership during this term. I would be remiss, Chris Regan's leaving us also, and I appreciate, Chris being up here for his term and bringing a different perspective, a different area of knowledge to the council. And I very much appreciate it because this was at least as we've seen so far, this has been the technology term. And I think it would have been different without Chris up here. Chris giving his guidance behind the scenes and in front of the scenes on whether or not things made sense. And I hope that, Mr. Regan, you come along with the satisfaction that you were part of that process, because I certainly wasn't, but I do see improvements. I've at least got an electrical plug back here, which I've asked for a decade, so I appreciate that, and good luck to you as well. So, thank you.
All right, I think we're all set. Seeing no other business on the agenda, this meeting is adjourned.